Beyond what our physical eyes can see stretches a vast mysterious kingdom, the invisible world, a hidden realm so close to us, yet completely veiled from ordinary human perception. Today, we plunge headfirst into the depths of this enigmatic reality together with the bold publicist Fritz Rieker, who unveils shocking, well-documented stories of how the visible and invisible worlds constantly collide, interact, and influence each other in ways that defy logic. Have you ever wondered what truly happens the moment we take our final breath? What awaits us after death? Where does the soul go? Rieker fearlessly declares that the answers are hiding in plain sight, in extraordinary, unexplained phenomena that science still cannot dismiss. These mind-blowing events are so powerful and so numerous that they leave no room for doubt. Life after death is real. But this is only the beginning of a jaw-dropping journey that could completely shatter and rebuild how you see reality forever. Beyond the limited five senses lies an entire parallel world we cannot see, touch, or measure with any instrument. Yet millions of arrogant skeptics still repeat the same foolish phrase, "If I can't see it with my own eyes, it simply doesn't exist." To them, Fritz Rieker had a crushing and brilliant response. Have you ever seen your own mind? No? Then according to your own narrow logic, you don't have one at all. Rieker was deeply convinced that the visible and invisible realms are not separate dimensions. They are intimately connected and constantly interacting. He spent years collecting hundreds of astonishing verified cases, insisting that to ignore them would be not only deeply unscientific, but intellectually dishonest and foolish. The soul reveals itself even in unconscious dreams. It survives and continues to exist long after the physical body dies and decays. The strongest proof of the soul's complete independence from the material body comes from what researchers call phenomenal phenomena, events that break every known natural law. One of the most striking pieces of evidence is the mysterious transmission of thoughts and intense feelings across enormous distances, especially in moments when a loved one faces mortal danger, even if they are hundreds or thousands of kilometers away. Rieker recounts the terrifying story of a young engaged woman. One ordinary evening, she was suddenly struck by a violent, uncontrollable physical attack. Her whole body began trembling violently. In that terrifying instant, she knew with absolute certainty that something catastrophic had happened to her fiancé. Without hesitation, she sat down and wrote him a desperate letter, asking what had occurred at that exact moment. His reply left her speechless and shaking. At that very second, he had been fighting an excruciating, agonizing attack of kidney colic, the beginning of a severe chronic illness that would change his life forever. Another chilling proof is the power of premonition that can literally save lives. This dramatic story was told directly to Rieker by a man living in Bingen at the time. One afternoon, his wife left their young son with the nanny and went to her piano lesson. The curious boy managed to sneak out and run away. When she reached the teacher's house, the lesson had been unexpectedly cancelled. She originally planned to hurry home via the shortest route, but suddenly felt an overwhelming, almost supernatural urge to take the much longer way instead. As she approached the dangerous railway crossing, her heart nearly stopped in horror. Her little son was calmly playing right on the train tracks. No crossing guard, no workers. Nobody had noticed him. The next speeding train was only moments away from disaster. Only that inexplicable inner voice had guided the mother there at the precise second to snatch her child from certain death. Even more fascinating are vivid dreams that replay everyday events from a strange new angle and sometimes astonishingly predict the future with eerie accuracy. In the inspiring book, The Best Is Yet to Come, theologian Christoph Blomhardt shares how, during his struggling student years, he received the exact money needed for his master's exam through a mysterious dream. Just days before the exam, an elderly professor suddenly invited him to his home after a lecture and asked directly, "You need money, don't you?" Then he handed the stunned student a small package containing precisely the required sum, calmly explaining, "Last night I had a clear dream that you were in desperate need of help. I'm truly glad that God chose me this time to be his instrument. In the invisible world live the souls of those who have already departed from earthly life." But Rieker goes much deeper. He describes breathtaking moments when the veil between our world and the next becomes paper-thin, moments he poetically called breaths of eternal life that ordinary people sometimes experience while still alive. One of the most powerful and personal accounts came from Rieker himself. "I must warn you immediately that I possess absolutely no psychic or supernatural abilities," he wrote. "Yet one sleepless night, while fully awake and in complete consciousness, I clearly saw my beloved father who died in 1939, my dear mother who passed away in 1943, and my sister who suddenly died of a heart attack in 1961. They appeared before me in a gloriously transformed, radiant state. Their faces showed no trace of age, sickness, pain, or earthly suffering, only profound heavenly peace, radiant joy, and indescribable bliss. They smiled at me with infinite tenderness and gently waved. They looked different, and yet they were exactly the same as I had known and loved them during their lives on earth." Rieker strongly emphasized that the afterlife is far from empty or lonely. Besides the souls of the departed, there exist entire realms inhabited by powerful angels, and also dark spheres where hostile spiritual forces dwell. He gathered numerous verified cases of angelic intervention, breaking into our physical world, especially dramatic and timely answers to desperate prayers. One unforgettable example occurred in the spring of 1776 with the famous German physician and writer Johann Heinrich Jung Stilling. He had fallen into deep financial ruin after selflessly treating poor patients for free for years. The rent deadline was approaching fast, and he had literally no money left. He prayed fervently with all his heart until the very last morning. At the absolute final moment, a postman unexpectedly knocked on his door and handed him 115 gold thalers, the exact amount needed to save him from disaster. It turned out the money was royalties from a book he had written years earlier. An admirer had secretly published the manuscript without his knowledge and sent the payment at the precise moment of his greatest desperation. Not a single day earlier, not a day later. It arrived on the very last possible day. To many people, such coincidences may appear small and insignificant, but Rieker believed these are the sacred moments when the bright light of eternity suddenly breaks through the darkness of our material world, undeniable proof that death is not the end, but only a transition. Death, he powerfully concluded, is merely a doorway, a brief passage from one form of existence to another, far greater one. Our departure from the visible world should be seen as the glorious day of our true second birth, a sacred crossing to the other shore, where a beautiful new garment of light has already been lovingly prepared for each and every one of us. What if everything we think we know about life, death, and reality is only the smallest tip of a massive hidden iceberg?